I have a perfect project for you, and only thing that you need is yarn and your hands. In this tutorial I am going to show you how to make this hand knitted pillow. So let's grab your yarn, hands, and let's get started. So we are going to use, I'm concretely using Alize Puffy. This one for me is the best one. And we just going to need some scissors, buttons, so then you can basically close your pillow cover, and your hands, and we can start. Okay, so what I usually like to do when I am starting is I am going to actually destroy these first two loops just to have some, let's say, little bit tail of yarn. And if I would keep that as a loop, it would I would probably make a mistake, so you can just one or two, basically just to leave a little bit of tail. Okay, so then you know that this is your end. So actually I will cut only one. Now we are going to count how many loops we want to have in that we need to work with. Okay, so ideally is to put everything correct side, okay, at the beginning, and measure till how many, basically how big your pillowcase needs to be. Okay, so for my, I think it is 40 centimeter pillow, 40 per 40, I used exactly 26 of these loops. Okay, so I used 26. So let's imagine we are doing exactly this, so count 26 loops. Okay, I counted 26 loops, so this is my 26 loop. So, and actually we are going to start from this side, so not from the beginning right here, but from this side. Okay, so this is my 26 loop, and this is, let's call it my working yarn. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to take our 26 loop and cross over like this with the 25th. Okay, now I am going to grab my working yarn, which is this one, and just put that loop through the first one like this. Again, taking a working yarn and going through that second loop. Okay? So, and this way we are going to continue all the way down. So, I am again with my next two loops. Okay, so you will be always making it like with doubles, or how to say it, so always working with two loops. So I am going, so if you are going the direction to the, let's say from right to left, you are going to grab your right loop over your left loop, so to create something like this. Hold it there, grab your working yarn. Grabbing the working yarn and not your loops is always from the beginning tricky. That's why when it comes to the first one or two rows, I really recommend to sit in front of the table and just have everything like this right now set up. Later on, for example, the rest of my pillow I was doing it while sitting in the car, okay? But especially if you are doing it first time, I really recommend to do first rows really sitting in front of the table, so then you will get the feeling on exactly what is your working yarn. But basically how you can always double check, you see these two are kind of connected, and my first loop in the working yarn is followed by then the second. So you see it looks a little bit different. So this is my loop of the working yarn, and going through, always going first through the loop that I have the closest. Okay, so here, pulling through. Now this is my next loop of the working yarn, going into the next loop and pulling through. Now always make sure when you are pulling through that you are pulling it till you are kind of stuck. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are pulling the whole loop. If you are not doing that, you can create a hole, it's not so nice, and so on. Okay, so always make sure. Now I am going to another set of two loops that I have in front of me. So again, I am grabbing the right one over the left one, so having something like this, holding it with my finger like this. Now grabbing the working yarn. My first loop of the working yarn is this one, okay, and going through the first loop, pulling through till it's stopping me, And when I am doing it till it's stopping me, the second loop is kind of always so close next to me, okay? So always double check that. So this is very close one, and pulling through and going through that loop. And this way you are going to continue all the way till the end, okay? So you are always having the doubles. So always making sure you are going, if you are going from the right side to the left side, this is exactly how you are crossing over your loops, okay? So do it till the end. If you have chosen even number, like me, so 26, 28, less, so basically even number, you are basically doing it, so it will exactly match to have always basically, so at the end you will end up with last two, and you are just finishing them normally, okay? In case you would start with an odd number, so 27 for example, I will show you what to do in that case, okay? So then you know what to do, so it's not like, oh my god, I need to have even number. No, you don't need to, but you just need to be then more careful. So for me, I always recommend, at least for this pillowcase, I prefer to start always with the even number. It's easier for me. But of course you can start with an odd number of the loops, and I will show you how to basically do it at the end. Okay, so now you've done your part and you are ending with one basically of the loop. You don't have the second one where you can kind of loop over. So you are going to do very simple thing, and this is your working yarn. So you are just going through that one loop, pulling through, and basically that's it what you will do. And this is what you will do always when you kind of end up, it doesn't matter on which side, if it is on the left side or on the right side, if you end up with basically just one loop, okay? But you need to make sure that you are supposed to end up with the with only one loop, because actually what I am going to show you now is it will be switching. It will be kind of one row you will end up exactly equal, and one row you will always have one loop that you need to end up. It just depends on which side. Why I am telling you this? So now I showed you how it is, how the ending is when you are having your chains with an odd number, let's say 27. If you have 26 like I started, then you are just normally ending your row with two loops, crossing over and going through the working yarn, okay? So now in order to kind of start to create this crisscross stitch, what we are going to do is we are going to, when we are going from the left side to the right side, we are going to always ignore the first loop, okay? Ignoring the first loop, and now starting with the second one. And as we are going from the left side to the right side, we are doing exactly the same with our loop. So I am grabbing my left loop over the right one, okay? So other way like we did it in the first row, okay? And then just ignoring this one, grabbing my working yarn and going over, going through, okay? And again, so grabbing my left loop over the right loop and pulling through the working yarn. So, and this is basically exactly how you are working with it. So now this kind of, let's say I was showing you an odd number with an, if you are starting your chain with an odd number, your second row you will end up with two loops at the end. But if you started with an even number, you will end up with one loop only here, okay? So this is basically the only difference between if you are starting with an even or with an odd number. So now basically I will just finish it off like normally, and I will start again. So I will finish this. If you have only one last loop, just go through over it, okay? Now every time you are going from right to left, you are not skipping any loop, you are not skipping anything, you are starting from your first loop. So basically the logic is following, and it doesn't matter if if you have odd or even number. When you are going from right to left, you are going through all the loops, including the beginning one. So you are starting with the first one always and going from right loop over the left loop, okay? Now, if you are going from left to right, you are skipping the first loop, always skip the first loop, and you are going with your loop, your left loop over the right loop. And basically that's it. This is the logic how you are working all the way through. And now I am going to show you how to close your work. Once you have your desired length of your pillow or blanket, maybe you are making a blanket, basically it doesn't matter, so the ending, you know, is always the same. What we are going to do is, so we are actually, I have ended up with the way that I have my working yarn on the left side, okay? But basically it doesn't matter even if you would have it on the right side, because what we are going to do is exactly this. We are not using the working yarn, okay? So I am going to grab, but we are starting from right to left. I am grabbing my loops, my first loop, and going over to the next loop that is there, like this. Now I have only one loop, this loop, going over the next loop, okay? So I am always grabbing my loop that I have as the, let's say, closest to me, and grabbing the next one and pulling over like this. And you see I'm creating this kind of bumps. And all the way till the end, I'm just simply very easily going through till the end. Okay, now I am at the end, and actually it's good that you have your working yarn on the left side, because I will use it to make a knot actually. So now I am at my last two loops, so I'm going through the last one, okay? So, and now basically everything here is closed. So, but I want to kind of make a knot here to be 100% sure that it's not going anywhere, but I can make here very easily the loop, because I can kind of hide the yarn somewhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to destroy few of the loops right here, okay? So always you have them kind of, you see, joined with a little bit of, I don't know what it is, and you can very easily cut it. So I think just this. Okay, the rest I don't need. So actually here it depends. If it is your blanket, you are ending here, making a knot, and so on. But if you are making a pillow, we need to sew, because basically as a pillow you made one big, let's say, rectangle, for example, and now we need to join it together. So here, don't cut the yarn here. We are going to need much higher, or let's say longer tail. So here I recommend cutting a lot of loops right here, so you have enough long yarn tail, so then we can sew the pieces together, okay? So leave a long tail, or if you want to use a different yarn because you don't want to use this basically loop one, you can do that as well. So it's really up to you, okay? So cut and let's say all the loops that you need. Okay. So now I am grabbing that tail, pulling it over my last loop. I have a long tail and kind of tightening it up, okay? So tightening it up, kind of secure it. Here you can make another loop or something. So this is basically how, and you see that your work is not anymore destroying. So now if you are making a pillow, you are just going to simply put all the sides together, okay? So this is the part where you need to sew. So you will going to take your tapestry needle and very simply go over the loops that you have right here, okay? Something like this. Go over the loops on the one side, do the other side, and then here on the, let's say, top part, it depends. If you want to have like this pillowcase that you can then just easily wash it, you just add here the buttons or zipper or what are your possibilities. So then you can just all the time very easily remove it from your pillow. So I will add the buttons, and basically that's it. Your pillowcase is done, or maybe your blanket. It really depends what you are working on. So I hope you have liked it, and now you have your own very soft and cuddly piece I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please don't forget to give a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so then you can keep up with all of my upcoming tutorials. Until next time, happy crocheting!